what is this production?
Oh! Oh my God.
And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of that what he just said. You can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do.
Bro, what is this production? Applause. And the thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. That kind of that what he just said, you're going to put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it. Jake Paul has reacted to the new sparring and training footage of Gervonta Tank Davis that recently went viral across social media, and his response has everyone talking. The clip shows Davis looking sharper, faster, and more explosive than ever as he prepares for his next fight, leaving fans buzzing about whether Tank is entering his prime. Hey, get over there. Davis has made his name in the lighter division. He's last fought around 133 to 135 lb and has never officially weighed above 140 lb in pro bouts. Meanwhile, Paul is a natural cruiserweight, typically fighting in the 200 lb range, and he recently weighed in at that weight in his bouts. This isn't just a few pounds difference, it's several weight classes. When the gap is that wide, a lot more comes into play. The heavier fighter often has advantages in durability, power, ability to absorb punches, and leverage. It becomes less about just skill and more about who can handle being hit and still stay effective. Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta Tank Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to cover this because there's no way they're really going to do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him outside of it? Like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rules set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing because at that point Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime. Still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you could say, oh, the Jake would be a one-off side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore. Carmen Melmont recently looked back on a sparring session he had with Davis when he was just 15 or 16. He admitted he was nervous at first, but said the session quickly turned into a chess match. Not all power, but timing, speed, and counterwork. Moden said Davis never went full force trying to knock him out. Instead, they traded angles and rhythm in a strategic exchange. According to him, Davis's strength was noticeable, but in terms of pure skill and quickness they were back and forth. Mott called the experience fun, challenging, and a significant learning moment in his development as a fighter. What was it like when you sparred him? I know you sparred Tank early on. What was that experience like? Like, replay that experience for me like you coming out of it. What was your thought? Yeah, I was nervous at first. I think I was 15 at the time we sparred. So he wasn't really like trying to knock me out or nothing like that, but we was going like he was using the speed on, like we was both like going speed for speed, and it was great. It was like a chess match. Did you understand in that moment like why he is who he is? Yeah. I seen why he's able to beat these guys. Then I also seen why I'm so like I got all this hype around me too. Sean Porter defended Davis's decision to step into an exhibition with Jake Paul, arguing that critics miss the bigger picture. For Porter, the fight is less about proving greatness in the ring and more about securing financial stability for Davis and his family. Because it is an exhibition, the risks are limited by agreed-upon rules and safety measures, and the main goal is entertainment. Porter emphasizes that fighters often face short careers and must take opportunities that provide both exposure and financial reward. From this perspective, Tank Davis accepting such a fight is not selling out, but rather protecting his future while giving fans a show. Porter's words highlight the balance between purists who want legacy and fighters who must think of their lives beyond the sport. No, they're trying to make it safer and all those sorts of things, but there's still this purist to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis. Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxing boxers, man? Like, once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking like I don't know the official. They're talking about 100 mil. Oh damn, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like, I'm going to be like, don't take that. I'm not going to tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record, it's an exhibition. I'm not going to lie here and act like I'm not going to say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. This always been an argument, right? But they're just selling it like a real fight almost. So I think that maybe if we could create a better distinction, the more of a difference, right? There might be less hate on it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to tell Tank not to take that fight. And I said this last year. I said, create an influencer title, and let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world and the life of I'm a world champion without having to do something like this. Now, the issue for this that I have is you have a legitimate 135 lb champion fighter getting in the ring with a 190 lb guy, or whatever it is that Jake Paul is at. So now we already let's really answer this thing. In contrast, many believe that despite all the hype, this disparity makes the fight more a spectacle than a truly competitive or fair boxing match. Even promoters seem to be acknowledging this. Special safety rules like a catch weight of 195 pounds, use of larger gloves, and treating the match as an exhibition are being used precisely because of those dangers. For them, the fight is less about weight and more about the fact that Gervonta has fought elite champions. While Jake's resume is built on limited experience, they picture Davis darting in, landing clean punches, and making Jake look clumsy despite the size gap. Comment about it. My question is, what's the rules? And are they going to actually try and knock each other out? Cause it's going to be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching. Dude, I don't give a Jake's gonna have a hard time hitting him. Yeah, big time, jaunt so fast. Dante's gonna eat his. I thought Jake was gonna fight Anthony Joshua. That seems no, that was actually getting that sounded more craziest idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is crazy, not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records, so it's still being finalized. Yeah. I don't like that. So what is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey yes, don't punch each other in the jaw. Yep, or don't go, we can punch in the face but don't go for broke, don't knock me out, really, yeah, it's exhibition, that's not very me, no. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition I'm like, okay, Jake is bodied up, man, he's big. Yeah, probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150. Oh, he's so small, I mean he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather because I seen Floyd in person and he's tiny. How you've seen Floyd in person? I work with Gervonta and Floyd. Tiny. Well, Floyd likely has shoes on. Dude, he's so small. He's tiny, guys. Yeah, he's so small. Wow, great fighter. Chael Sonnen recently criticized Jake Paul's decision to shift focus from Anthony Joshua to a fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, calling it a letdown from what had been promised. Sonnen argued that unlike Paul, Tank isn't naturally gifted at selling fights or building hype. He lets his fist do the talking inside the ring, but he lacks the promotional instincts that Paul has cultivated over time. While Sonnen acknowledges Tank's undeniable skill and credibility as a fighter, he believes that without Paul's ability to generate narrative and media attention, the event just wouldn't gain the same traction. In Sonnen's view, the match's appeal depends heavily on Paul's promotional machine rather than just the clash of two fighters. It is the exact opposite of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for two. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay, so there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contender's fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite. He could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who has argued amongst the pound-for-pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to.